gonna. Okay. Now we are live. All right, we are gonna go ahead and get started. If you could make your way into the room. Welcome. Good morning, everyone. It's great to see your smiling faces on this chilly October morning. I know I struggled to get out of bed this morning. I'm sure you all did as well. All right, if you are new here, we are Social Media Breakfast Madison. We are a social media and digital marketing organization dedicated to providing free monthly events every third Wednesday of the month here at Dream Bank. We also live stream on our LinkedIn and Facebook page, which I think majority of people opted for this morning since it is a chilly morning. Yeah. All right, here are our lovely board members. As you can see, there is my smiling face, and there's additional smiling people behind me. Ooh, I can hear my own voice. That's the worst, when you can hear your own voice. There are additional board members in this room with me. If they could wave their hands and say, hey, hey. All right. Thank you to those that attended our 15-year anniversary party and Madison Social Media Marketing Awards. It was a wonderful evening filled with celebrating local talent as well as celebrating SMBMad. I know I had a wonderful time, and many of you in this room had a wonderful time as well. All right. If you haven't yet, connect with us. I do this drill every single third Wednesday of the month, but pick your favorite platform or pick all the platforms and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Threads, Twitter, what have you. We're at SMBMad.org. All right. Our nonprofit spotlight this month is Remits. They're in the back of this room. They are a wonderful organization, and what they do is they take upcycled wool sweaters and they turn them into beautiful mittens, and 100% of the proceeds go to Dane County food pantries, which is wonderful. So they're taking items and repurposing them to do good in the community. Thank you to our wonderful sponsors. We could not do this without you. And speaking of our wonderful sponsors, Andy from Dream Bank is going to share a few words.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much, Social Media Breakfast Madison, and welcome. Small but mighty team today. I love it. My name is Andy. I work here at Dream Bank. And for those of you who maybe aren't familiar, Dream Bank is a free community resource that's put on by American Family Insurance. And everything we do ladders up towards the inspiration and pursuit of dreams, in large part by helping to remove barriers for individuals. So that shakes out, I'd say, 3 large ways, the largest one being the events that we host. So we host anywhere between 6 to 15 free events a month in this space and virtually, all through the lens of personal and professional development. So anything from tools to grow and start a business. We also offer a lot of events that are meant to overcome obstacles and barriers in dream pursuit. So if you're curious about what we have on the docket, head to our website, which is amfam.com/dreambank. That's going to be the most concise list of our events that we have. We also have our October calendar painted on our chalkboard as well. And if you have any questions about our programming, be happy to answer them for you as well. In addition to the events that we host, we also function as a drop-in co-working space. Little different today. So Dream Bank is actually closed to the public outside of you wonderful folks here today, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, just for some of our programming. But on the other side of the check-in table, typically is where we offer up co-working for folks to come in, have a quietish place to work, really meant to embody kind of a third space, if you're familiar with that terminology, or kind of a coffee shop environment without the expectation of spending money. And that leads me to a really good point. All of our offerings here at Dream Bank are free of charge to the community. That's really to remain as equitable as possible to the community that we serve. Lastly, all the way at the back of the space, we have a very robust and interactive exhibit. It's an oldie but goodie, Build Your Dream. If you haven't checked it out, can't do it this week. But next week, I highly encourage you to pop in if you are in the neighborhood. Lastly, if you folks are ever looking for meeting space for your small team, nonprofit, what have you, when we're not utilizing this space, we offer it up to our community members to utilize as well. So feel free to reach out to myself or any of the Dream Bank staff to help kind of get you pointed in the right direction. And with that, I will kick it back to Amelia.
Awesome. Thank you. Enjoy free coffee on us. One of you will be a lucky winner of a YOLO's gift card, and Therese will be deciding, and she just found out.
Oh.
All right, scholarship alert. SMBMad loves to give back to the community, as you all know. We are giving away a virtual ticket to Social Media Marketing World, which is March 30th through April 1st in 2025. March has already passed this year. I don't know if you all know that, but it has. We're in October. So you'll receive free access at $997 value. You'll receive the remote live stream of all sessions. If you are interested in this, please apply to SMBMad.org/scholarships and indicate that you are interested in the social media marketing world. Our next event is our live nonprofit audit on November 20th. Join us as these wonderful individuals, Amy, Ashley, and Jackie, will be reviewing the Wisconsin Latino Chamber of Commerce and giving them free advice. All right, let's be friends. Are you interested in becoming a speaker? Are you interested in volunteering, sponsoring an event? Are you a nonprofit that is interested in being a nonprofit spotlight? Or are you interested in a scholarship? If so, scan the QR code and become involved in SMBMad. And with that, I'm going to kick it back to Therese. Let's give it up. Okay, I have been hyping this up for a hot minute because as everyone knows, I swear everyone knows, Therese is a great college friend of mine. I have known Therese since we were back in college at our American Marketing Association days. Those were some interesting days that are not to share on microphone. But I remember when we were working in the student organization and the student center, and she was putting together like her very immaculate lunches, right? So I would walk in and she would have these like very immaculate lunches. And I was like, wow, that's so impressive. Because we're living in college housing, right? Like we got like roaches in there and black mold. And I'm like, that's a crazy lunch to have for college. So I am not at all surprised that she has become a fabulous business owner and nonetheless of Tricky Food. So let's give a warm welcome to Therese.
Thank you. Yeah. Awesome. Wow. Thank you. Can you guys all hear me okay? Awesome. Okay. Well, as you guys already heard, Amelia and I went to college together. So that was just a fun thing to think. And now we're back together presenting in the same room. So it's very exciting. So I'm going to switch over to my slides now. And today's presentation is on Kickstarter. For those who didn't know that, welcome to the Kickstarter presentation. So we're going to start out by, I want to get to know the room a little bit. So can you guys raise your hands if you've heard of Tricky Foods before? Okay, nice. And is there anyone in the room that's done a Kickstarter? Okay, is there anyone in the room that hasn't done one but is thinking about it? Okay, so for those online, the whole room is raising their hand right now. So everyone is very curious. And we're going to give you guys some information on how I did it and some tips and tricks on if you're interested in jumping into that world. Now, for those who didn't raise their hand on what Tricky Foods is a cheese and charcuterie shop. We're also a wine and beer bar and event space located just 5 minutes down the road from here. It's a team of me, 2 full-time employees and 10 part-time employees. We've also had a couple interns up throughout the summer, which is really fun from some nonprofits. So Turning Point is one and CEOs of Tomorrow. So we've had some interns, which is awesome. But before we got to this point, before we had our brick and mortar, we have to take a step back. We have to look at the beginning. So I'm going to start by giving you guys a little bit of background of the Therese story. So my story starts, I always joke around like right out of the womb because I really feel like I was born with the passion for food. I genuinely, as you can see in these photos here, I loved cooking ever since I was little. I was homeschooled, so I'd sit in front of the TV, I'd watch the Food Network, and I would take notes, and then I'd go in the kitchen and try to like make things with my mom. So I genuinely feel like I was born with the passion. However, I did get my first job in the food industry, but my dad gave me some advice. He said, Therese, you're not going to make any money in the food industry, so go into IT. So I did. So as you can see here, I decided to work at a couple different software companies. I ended up getting a degree in IT from the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater, and then I moved to Madison in 2018 to work at Epic. So I was there for a couple of years, and truthfully, I kind of lost myself to the job. I realized I wanted to get my life back, and so I put in a 6-week notice, and 4 weeks later, the pandemic happened. So I was like, crap, I'm gonna die. I've done nothing that I love in my life. I need to do something that I love, something that's gonna get me out of bed every morning and me not wishing I'm just going right back to bed. And so that was a crazy time in 2020. Before I was able to actually start Tricky Foods, I of course needed another job. So I started waitressing at a country club, and then I started teaching kids cooking classes at a kitchen from my hometown in Waukesha. So I was trying to build on my passion for food while keeping my head above water financially. And so that kind of brings us to the tricky story. So like Amelia said, I loved cooking for a very long time. I used to make these extravagant college meals. So on the left side of the screen, you'll see some meals that I used to just take photos of and post on my Instagram. So that's why I started Tricky Foods, the Instagram page. It was in 2017. I just wanted a place to share the food that I was making. So that was my senior year of college. Then I kind of went on a hiatus for a while. I was eating all my meals at work. And then when I left and I lived alone, I started really firing it back up again and realized my favorite thing about food was, well, bringing people together, which we couldn't do at that time, but also just the presentation of it and sharing that. So I saw the charcuterie board trend in 2020. Did anyone else see it kind of pick up then? Yeah, everyone's like, yeah, that's when it really came to be. And it's been around for a long time, but it came to be in a different way. So I saw different cities, or in big cities and big states, people selling charcuterie boards. Very naively thought, oh, this looks so easy. I had never made a board in my life. And so that's a picture of the first board that I made. I took a picture of it. I made a large size, and I kept breaking it down into smaller and smaller sizes to show that we had different sizes. And then I posted on Instagram, and I'm like, everyone, I'm selling boards from my home. And so a lot of my old friends from work were joining in. They were supporting the business. And so that's kind of how it started. So this is an updated photo of what we currently sell today, but all the sizes were the same back in the day. So I started with something called the Fine, I'll Share box. That's that medium-sized box. It was a date night box, trying to be a little flirty, like, fine, I'll share. And then we came out with the I Love You box as a nice way to show that you're thinking of someone, and plus everyone was just alone then, so it was a good one-person box. This was called the COVID cup back in the day, but that's a charcuterie cup. Yeah, glad it's just the charcuterie cup now. And then we had our hangout platter and our party, which, as you can imagine, we didn't sell a ton of those back in the day, although those are our biggest sellers now. So the early days were filled with just, it's very bootstrap. I guess I'm trying to think of a word to describe it other than just, it was funny looking back. So I used to take all of my orders on Instagram DMs. I'd have people message me, email me. I'd have my friends that I used to work with come and pick up ingredients with me. That's at Potter's Crackers. I had my parents come up and help me in my shared kitchen space in Stoughton. This is just me and my mom. And then my first employee was my friend from college's family member. And he was 15 when he started with me and worked with me for a couple of years. So I give you guys all this background. Oh, let me go into this actually. So grazing tables, as things started to open up, we started to do larger scale grazing tables. So we could do, anywhere from 20 to 1,000 people we've done nowadays, but this is when things really started to pick up for us. And so with all of this all came from social media. All of our customers were from online. As I already previously mentioned, I'm not originally from this area. So it really was from the ground up, meeting people waitressing, meeting people on Instagram. All of my friends that you see in that photo, I met on Instagram. So I was really into harnessing social media and the community on there to help build my business, to help build my community, my friend group, my network. And as you can see, we have a little over 10,000 followers. So that was, and most of them are in Madison, around like 9,500 are in Madison. And most of them are women, which are my target market. So I've been able to use social media to really help grow the business. And why I give you guys all this background is because, as you can kind of see, things really started to progress. It was just me, and it was an employee, and then we started doing larger tables. And so I had to start thinking about what the expansion plans were going to be. I wanted to grow a team. I wanted to be able to control the environment a little bit more, improve my work-life balance in a sense where I could kind of minimize the unpredictability of the kitchen and be closer to our client base since we were in Stoughton. So for all these reasons, I started thinking, I need to expand. How am I going to grow? And basically what I came to was I need a storefront. Now, it's funny for me to just say that because it wasn't an easy decision. That was something that I thought about for a year or 2 years. I ran the numbers on. I thought, am I all in or am I all out? And so I did make the decision that I want to be all in. I want to see how far I can take this. And so this is just a sign I had taped to my front door at the time. So it would say, welcome, check the black cooler if you're here. So I'd bring them from the kitchen to my porch, and that's where people would pick them up. All the way to our very own brick and mortar. That's 1,400 square feet. Now, really, the biggest thing about expanding like this is where's the money going to come from? That's a huge piece of it. It's not just that's not a baby step. That's a leap. And so when I looked at my funding options, this is really where the Kickstarter comes into play. So my funding options were this. I'd been in business for 3 years, so fortunately, I could go for an SBA loan or a bank loan. I knew that my business was going to be contributing a hefty amount of money, and then also personal contributions, meaning I would withhold my own pay and owner's distributions. But then I started thinking about crowdsourcing. So everyone in this room, I believe you've said you've heard of Kickstarter before. There's a couple other ones. So there's GoFundMe, there's Kiva loans. I'm going to primarily talk about Kickstarter, but I am just going to hit those for those that are listening and thinking about expanding their businesses. A Kiva loan is a great option if you want to get a crowdsourced loan from people. I forget like exactly how much you can get, but you eventually pay that back to those people that are giving. A GoFundMe is where people are giving money to me out of the kindness of their heart. They're not expecting anything in return. But at Kickstarter, that has some gas on it. So it's a campaign. It's a campaign that you set for a certain amount of time, and you give prize tiers to people that are giving certain amounts of money. So this is where we get into the Kickstarter portion. So for those who haven't seen a Kickstarter, this is what the front page looks like. So as you can see, this is before I had my store. So for those who have been in it, you can tell that it actually ended up turning out a lot like this. But this is before I had any furniture, any designs. And so you kind of set the vision for what you're raising your funds for. Then a quick statement of bring the brand to life, a commercial kitchen, a wine bar, and a venue space with an outdoor patio. As you can see, this is the finish line here. We did end up raising just around $27,000. We had 252 people back it, but let's go through how I did that. Now, Kickstarter 101. So we'll go through all of these in more details, but get ready to take some notes as we go if you're curious about this for yourself. So you're going to need to set a goal number. You're going to need to establish a time frame. You have to tell your story, create engaging prize tiers that make people want to donate to the campaign or pledge to the campaign. You'll market it, and just know that it's all or nothing. That's another thing that I love about it. It's like you got to get there or you don't get a cent of it, and then you actually have to fulfill all of those categories. So I set my goal at 24,000. There was really no scientific reason why I chose that number. I thought it sounded just good. So I thought 20,000 would be achievable. I was thinking about my customers, and so our clientele is definitely people that have more disposable income. We've done events that people have paid $10,000 for. So I think in my mind, naively, I was thinking maybe someone's just gonna like load off their extra change on me. So that was very naive. It did not happen that way. But I thought about my clientele and how many people we had, how many customers we'd had, and I just thought 24,000 was a good number. So I would encourage anyone to think about what your target market is. A lot of people do this type of business or do a Kickstarter before they've even kicked off. So you kind of have to use your imagination with that. I also learned that my target market for Tricky Foods was not the same as Kickstarter. So the same people that have money but no time are not just perusing online looking where they can give their money away. They're great supporters of the business, but your Kickstarter supporters are going to be probably a different group. Then you'll want to create some urgency. So you can set your campaign length for as long as you want. I just set it for 30 to really light the fire under my butt. And so that had some research that 30 days or less were the most successful. 60 days or more were rarely successful. So it really helps if you do a smaller amount of time and you put your focused efforts into it. And honestly, I'm so grateful it was 30 days because it was like day in and day out. I was like campaigning to be mayor. That's what it felt like. So I'm happy that it was 30 days I could focus and then move on. But that really helped keep the hype up. And then you want to be specific on usage. So with building out the store, it was about $230,000 to do the whole project. So $24,000, I could have said, this is going to go towards part of our electrical, which is a little bit sad. Or I could say, this is going to fund all of the equipment in the kitchen. This is also going to help us get our supplies. And so, you know, people could come in and be like, I funded that fridge. So I wanted it to be a physical thing that people could see. Now you'll need to tell your story. So just like I spent the first part of this presentation telling you guys my story, everyone knows that you sell yourself before you sell your product. So I knew that I needed to sell why people should support me. I needed to sell the vision of the space. So showing people photos, showing them, envisioning what the space was going to be used like. the question to ask yourself is, why should people support your dream, and what makes your story unique? So this is super unique for everyone and every business. For me, I was trying to think through what made my story unique, and these are a couple of examples. So, of course, being a woman-owned business, starting in the pandemic at age 23, fully self-funded, single-owned entity, a huge and laughable career pivot from IT to food, built on passion, a childhood dream come true, and then risking all that I had. And so in Kickstarter, you actually get an opportunity to write your story. So I used words like, if this doesn't work out, I have to dissolve all of my investments and give my car back to the bank. Like, they have a lien on it. And so I use those words of like, I'm all in. Are you guys willing to be, or do you want to be a part of the story? Because I'm fully in. How about you guys? So those are some points that I really tried to sell in my story and throughout the campaign. Now, this is a fun part. So making prize tiers. This is what I really liked about Kickstarter versus a GoFundMe. So you actually get to create something of value for the people that want to support your campaign, ranging from different price ranges. So this is what I launched with, okay? I launched with something ranging from $15 all the way up to $2,000. So that would range from a simple shout out online, stickers, merch, a wooden board, their name on a plaque in our store, and then this was something that was pretty funny. I said I was going to do a big launch party at an awesome venue in a cool space, and I had no plans of what I was going to do. I just said, if we can get there, I'll plan something. And kind of with the cost of the tiers, what I decided with it was, if something costs, say, this category might have cost me, or this category cost me $60 to actually fulfill, I 10 times it, which, again, there is no research on why to do that. I just felt like, let's try that out. I did also have some duds. So these are some that I put out there and nobody decided to do, which I like to just say, because not everything's a winner. So these were definitely, again, on the higher end. I was really hoping that there'd be some like sugar mama out there that just wanted to like give. And of course, like none of these weren't taken up, but it was still fun to make them and creative. There's a couple more prize tiers that we did end up adding. I'll get to those a little bit later on. Now with launch day, so leading up to this day, I just felt so sick to my stomach. I was like, am I really going to put it out there? Like, what are people going to think? I'm asking for money. Like, is anyone even going to give? And so really, I had to involve my network majorly to help me kind of get to that point. So I put all of my women-owned business owner friends in a chat, and I said, hey, everyone, like, this is something big that I'm doing. Do you think that you could just reshare? Or, you know, they had a good amount of following too, because they had businesses. So with the algorithm, as you guys know, even if you have 10,000 followers, it's really like 1,000 people maybe that see your stuff. So just trying to get more eyes on it. So I had my network kind of help me promote it. And then we really teased it leading up to it. So I'd be like, okay, guys, in 1 week, we're going to launch the biggest news ever. Stay tuned at this time, this day. And then on launch day, you post it everywhere. So you're putting on Instagram, you're putting on stories, you're putting on LinkedIn, you're putting it, you're sending newsletters, you're just going crazy with it. And then with that, you start getting the first pledges. And that's like the best feeling in the world, when you put yourself out there and you kind of get someone saying like, I got you. So when even if someone gave $15, I was like, oh, I will never forget you. Or like, some of the bigger ones that came through, I would cry. It was so emotional to see that like people were supporting my dream financially. And I had given to Kickstarters in the past, but like when it's you, you're like, man, that hits. So definitely share your reaction, share your appreciation. And people just want to see more of that. So the more you put it out there, the more that people want to keep giving to that type of energy. And then constantly reminding people that they're a part of the story. So throughout the campaign, I had this slogan. Again, I felt like I was running for mayor, where I was like, be a part of the Tricky Food story. Do you want to be a part of the Tricky Food story? So just reminding people that they're making an impact on your dream. So now major marketing. So we did an email newsletter. We used to do it once a month. We were doing like 5 a week, just being like, this is what's going on. These are our new pledge tiers. This is where we're at with the funding amount. And so we just keep trying to push it that way. We had an email list of like maybe 1,500 or 2,000. We would do daily updates. So as you can see in the photo here, this is like, I tried to pepper in kind of our best pieces of content. as well as our daily updates. So you can see that not every day it went up. I mean, this was probably 2 days and it went up a little bit, but then I had the time in 11 days, time left 9 days. And so it was just a constant update. Think about your unpaid sales team. So this is your network. For me, this was actually my mom. I did not think things would, I mean, she's calling up the family. So yeah, did you see Therese's Kickstarter? Yeah, pretty cool, huh? You know, just kind of selling it a little bit for me. And so really my close network of family and friends were really helping kind of get the word out. Even if they couldn't financially contribute, even sharing it, that costs zero. So to be able to share it was huge. And apart from the financial support as well. So keeping the audience engaged. So I was constantly doing updates. I was so active on social media. My thumb had like tendinitis at that time because I was just, you know, responding to every single person that had anything to say, any questions, any comments. If they had new ideas for tiers or price tiers, I was taking that into consideration. And then really keeping the communication lines open. So just, you know, you're putting out there such a vulnerable thing and then being able to communicate with people as a human being. It was just nice to answer any questions or show people that you're really invested in this. So after about 72 hours of the campaign, things really started to slow down. Truthfully, I was like, it was a fun run. I guess I'm gonna lose this. I started to think through like what my failure speech was gonna be, like how I was gonna spin it to be positive, because we had such a big jump at the beginning. And then it was like, oh, we have 1,000 clicks and only 30 contributors. This is kind of tough to see. But what I would encourage anyone that gets to that point is keep pushing through. And I have some stories that I'll share throughout this, but a lot of people were watching and they were waiting to see what others were doing. And I mean, I was bombarding everyone. So I think probably after 15, they're probably like, my gosh, I'll give this woman $5 just to like feel good about myself. So just keep going, keep bringing energy, and keep making it interesting. So I like to say, keep putting gas on it. So I kept putting out new parts of my story. Like a lot of people didn't know that I was waitressing while I was building this business, or that I had a couple other jobs, or just reminding people the start and where I was trying to head. More newsletters, more social posts on more platforms. It was just like more. It was very, like I said, I'm glad it was only 30 days. And then pivoting. So we'll get into that in the next slide on while you're pushing through, there might be some more things that you can do to pivot. And then leaning into your unique skill set to rally. So my kind of skill set, you'd think would be like really beautiful charcuterie boards. Like that's great. We do have beautiful charcuterie boards, but I think where I really excel is my humor, and we'll show you some examples of that. So when I talk about pivots, really the biggest shout out I have to give is to Katie and Kevin from Hodgepodge. They have a cocktail and coffee shop. Well, it's actually coffee and a waffle shop now in Verona. And so after a couple days, I think they sensed that things were slowing down. And so they met with me and they're like, hey, we've done Kickstarters before. We've seen it. We have some ideas. And so you can see I brought in some new tiers. So I brought in some tiers kind of at different ranging on the lower end and mid-range. So I had in my mind that people just wanted to give away money, but some people actually want something that's like worth exactly what they're paying for. So a buy one, get one, when you pay $5 and you can get a $15 glass of wine, that's value. Or the gift card palooza, this one was an incredible marketing idea that I didn't even realize was happening. But we were doing, if you pledge $35, you get a $35 gift card, plus you get invited to like a hangout party to celebrate if the Kickstarter goes through. So we had at least $5,000 of people just buying gift cards. Later on, I realized that also brought in a ton of people to the space. It got people committed to coming in within the first year. And then another mid-tier of something that we had that was pretty simple. But again, we were just trying to hit those mid-tiers, and that really, really changed the game. So we talked about some marketing examples. So the first one that I'm going to show you guys is how I've talked about my childhood dreams and this becoming a reality. So this would be an example of one of those. Let me make sure the sound is working. Okay, I'll click play. For the land of the free, of the free. Could you guys hear that okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, good.
They can hear, but on this.
Okay. So for those who couldn't hear the song, it was just a random song with a background. But basically, it was like wondering how I end up in the food industry after going into a career with IT, and then it's childhood photos. So I was trying to hit people in the heartstrings. It hit me in the heartstrings. And then the childlike humor. So for me, I love SpongeBob growing up. So I found on CapCut, which is an app you can make social media, all these really easy inserts. And so I wanted to make it kind of like fun and interesting. So here's one.
Is this how you get your sick chicks? What? It's just an ordinary Krabby. Oh my goodness!
So that was just a clip from SpongeBob. But so I kept doing that, and then I was trying to make it even more exciting, put more energy on it.
How did you sleep during this?
She just asked how I slept. Not that well during this time. But so not only did this help put some gas on it, it got people excited. It helped me get some employees, because some of them are like, when I started seeing the SpongeBob memes, I knew I wanted to work for you. So that was really helpful. I kept leaning into like who I am as a person, and it just like, it attracted the right people. So thank you for that. And we did end up getting to our sweet victory. This is the final update. So yeah, the SpongeBob memes were like, when I found those, it changed my personality for life. I mean, I leaned into my childhood personality, and that's when things like really got fun for me. I was actually enjoying myself instead of being like, oh, why did I do this? So we did end up getting our victory. And so when you reach your goal, what do we do next? So of course you celebrate. I was so exhausted. I probably went to Culver's and called it a day. But I wanted to talk to you guys about some unexpected stories of generosity that I experienced. So it was 3 days before the end of the campaign, and we were like $4,000 short. I knew that I wasn't going to just be like, I'm going to contribute my own money. I'm going to get to the finish line. Like, I really did want it to be a community thing, and I was okay not taking any of it if we didn't get to the finish line. So yeah, 3 or 2 days before the end of it, I get a message from a business owner in the community, someone that I had met maybe 5 times max. And she said, hey, I just want to let you know that no matter what, on the last day, I'm going to get you to the finish line. And I just like started crying. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's like $4,000. Like, she got through the pandemic. It was a struggle for her business to get through, and she was willing to give to me. So then I'm crying, I'm telling my mom, and then she starts crying, and she's like, I was going to do the same thing. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, you people. I'm like, first off, why do you have to wait till the end? I'm sitting here struggling right now. But thank you. I'm like, thank you so much. And then I told my boyfriend, well, it's not my husband, and he's in the back right now, but I told him that, and he's like, oh, I was going to do the same thing. Like, where are you guys getting this money? And where were you 30 days ago? But no problem. Thank you. Like, it made me feel so good. I'm like, are you kidding me? I can like breathe again. This is amazing. So I just thought that was the coolest thing, to like put yourself out there and then have people be like, I got you. I also told that story to some friends, and they're like, yeah, I was just waiting to see how much you needed at the end. I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, people were, I didn't think we'd get there. Like, there were people that were repledging. They had put in maybe $100, and then we're doing $500 because, again, I didn't know where it was going to come from. So that was just like so crazy to experience. And then an unplanned successful marketing push. Like I said, I didn't do this to do marketing for the store, but my gosh, like the amount of clicks that we got, the people that still, when I meet, they go, oh, you had like a Kickstarter, right? You like raised a bunch of money. Or just getting people into the store. So like those first gift cards for the gift card drive, I got them custom made that said Tricky Foods first ever physical gift cards. And so anytime those people come into the store, I'm like, okay, all right, you'll get a heavy pour today then. So that got people into the store. It also helped increase the brand visibility, the story, the expansion. So like I already said, my story here, the brand, just making it fun, childlike humor. And so although we're kind of, it's a charcuterie board business, we have a certain type of clientele, but I'd like to make it approachable and make it where food can be made fun, anyone can enjoy it. And so our branding is, it's okay to play with your food, a winky face. That's why if you've seen our store, it has the winky face to remind people you can play with your food and make it fun. Now, the fulfillment of the Kickstarter products, that was something that I didn't really think about too hard, but it did take a ton of time to fulfill all those products. So I would just say if anyone's setting out dates, you can set fulfillment dates, just do it like a good amount of time out. Yeah, it was still very fun though. So like those things I mentioned, the launch party, we did a hangout party. And again, those are all huge marketing things that we were able to do that I didn't even think about. And then eventually you get a lump sum that drops into the account. There are fees. So it ended up being around $24,000 that actually entered the account. But on the story of unexpected generosity, I had so many people just Venmoing me too. I'm like, actually, can you put it in the Kickstarter? Because we're struggling to get to the end. So if you can, but that's kind of what happens when you reach your goal. And I thought these stats were really interesting. So I went through and put everyone in categories. So I'm not sure if this is surprising for anyone to see. I didn't know 27% of those people. I mean, there were people that gave $1,000 and I didn't even know, they didn't put their last name in there. So I couldn't tell. That's 27%, 26% online friend means I've seen their names, but I don't know them personally. So that's over 50%. That's huge. Then business relationships, that's kind of goes hand in hand with friends as well, but that was 11%. Friends were 18, and then the unexpected generosity of my family as well, which was 17%.
This is by amount?
Yep, this is by the full amount of the 24,000. So yeah, it's a fun stat. I love charts, pie charts specifically. Now, when I'm looking back, I think about some things that I feel like I did really well and things that I wish I would have done different. So I'm so glad I put myself out there. Honestly, just the fact that I did it, I really didn't want to do it. It was like pulling my own teeth out to get it done, but I knew it was going to be good for me and the business. So I'm happy that I told my story. I was vulnerable with it. My Kickstarter is still live. You can go through and see. I put all the finances and all of that stuff in it. I shared daily progress updates. I kept people at the edge of their seats. I adjusted my tiers, and I used my humor. So that really helped tip the scale. I wish I would have launched the campaign immediately after announcing the storefront. So when we announced it, I think we had like 30,000 people on our page, but I was so overwhelmed with that news that to create a Kickstarter, I couldn't get myself to do it. But if anyone can plan something like this and take this information and advice, I encourage you to launch that at the same time. Also launching with a wider variety of tiers. Like I said, that $5 tier, the $15 tier, those like lower end ones, that really, really helped. And then think like a winner. So I definitely felt like was thinking like a winner for the first 72 hours. And then I started feeling like not that. So I think when you're thinking poorly of yourself, you start to act like that too. And so when I was thinking like a winner, I kept putting out there, I kept putting updates, I kept invigorating it with energy. And when I wasn't, I was like, when is this going to be over? I do think one other thing I didn't add here was that you do kind of have to swallow your pride a little bit when you're asking for something like this. For me personally, I never posted on my personal Facebook or any personal pages because I was worried what people would think. And of course it got around. Like I said, my mom was like at the tower telling the family, but I didn't put it out there because I really wanted it to come from this community and the business community. But I think it would have probably caused less stress if I just would have put it out there like, hey, family and friends, this is what I'm doing if you're interested. No pressure. Now, some resources that I just wanted to call out. I used the financial projection clinic from the Small Business Development Center, and that helped me understand really what my costs were going to be. So I could confidently say, this is how much I'm spending on the project. This is how much I'm looking for. And so that helped me also get my bank loan and all that stuff. So that a huge shout out to them for anything financially related for your business. And then also researching other Kickstarters. There's so many on there. I think it's like 40% of Kickstarters that go out there actually are successful. So finding the successful ones, of course, like there's mine out there, but then another one, my friend Katrina has Ice Cream Social, and I used hers to really help me come up with kind of the cute names, the cute offerings, and just how she kind of structured her page. I also am a co-host of a podcast called the Screw It, Let's Do This podcast. And that is a podcast about entrepreneurs and their stories. So we did an episode, a full 30-minute episode on Spotify. You can listen on Spotify, Apple Music, or YouTube. Here's just a quick 30-second clip. I think it has the words on it, so plus you can't hear it.
We're going to talk about Therese's journey with Kickstarter. How it worked was like the first 72 hours were hype, people were sharing, and then 24 hours went by, we go up 1%. It was so slow. That next week was so discouraging. I started planning my failure speech. So I didn't even get an update for like a day or two because I'm like, this is embarrassing. It hasn't gone up at all. So do I just like stop trying and kind of like bow out? Then I would get another pledge. Even though I felt like a loser, I was playing like a winner, and I pulled out the SpongeBob memes. We started going up really fast.
So that was recorded, I think, a couple days after we did the Kickstarter. So that's like a lot of emotion. I think I look back and even if I didn't get to the finish line, I would have been happy that I tried. And I don't think there's any embarrassment in putting yourself out there. So I am happy we got there, but that does have some good emotion in it if you're curious. And then other resources. So I'm starting to do small business consulting. So you can book a call with me. Basically, if anyone is trying to get to their first $1 million in sales, I'm here to help you guys from my own experience. So you can email me at trickyfoods@gmail.com, and my website is under construction. But other than that, that is the end of the presentation. Thank you guys so much for listening. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Therese. That was really inspiring. Sorry, I always forget. We're open for some questions. Does anyone have any? Yeah. All right, I'll go around.
Thank you so much for sharing your story here with us today, Therese. I'm interested in how you built your network of other business owners in Madison. That was something that you shared as part of your story before the Kickstarter. And I am just starting out as a small business owner, and that's exactly what I'm looking to do. So I'd love to hear more about that.
Ooh, that's a really good one. Do I need to repeat that question, or I can just go and answer?
Good. We got
Awesome.
2 mics.
Oh, beautiful. Okay. Okay, this is one of my favorite things, and I'll kind of give you a little bit of background. So like I said, I wasn't from the area. I was actually on the fence of leaving Madison because I was so lonely. I'm like, every Saturday night, I'm like, I don't have plans. What am I going to do? And so I did get to a point where I was like, I either need to try something out there, really out there, or I'm going to have to leave. And so I found a bunch of business owners that I knew had started in 2020, or some, younger women business owners in between 20s or 30s. I put them all in a group chat on Instagram. I said, hey girls, any of you guys want to get together for a grill out at my house? And like, we could talk business. And again, food is always at the center of all of the things that I do. So I was grilling out, had everyone over. We'd all met for the first time. And then it started to just become like a regular occurrence. And so still that's like my friend group today. I mean, some have kind of moved on with other things, but that's my core friend group. So I would say, like, for me, Instagram and reaching out to people, it almost felt like online dating. You're like, but you're seeking them out. And you can be more direct about it if you can see people that are in the similar kind of range of your business journey. So I think reaching out is important. I use Instagram, and then finding people that are at the same stage. Like early on, I was trying to be friends with, I think, people that have been doing business for 5 years and more, because I looked up to them. But I think you have to find people that are in your same kind of journey. Yeah. The power of Instagram, baby.
So all or nothing's pretty tough.
Yeah.
Did you have any contingency plans when you started this if this did not work out?
The Kickstarter, the actual business.
Well, I was asking this question. I'm like, you already announced your storefront, so it seemed like kind of a burn the boat strategy to begin with. But I mean, if this Kickstarter thing didn't happen, I mean, what next? Yeah, well, so if Kickstarter didn't happen, if I didn't get it, I would have gotten a larger bank loan. So I knew that I could get a larger bank loan. So that was my alternative. I mean, yeah, that would just been taking out more debt. And yeah, if the business, I have no backup plan. I want to do this business forever. So that's kind of, there is no contingency plan. But yeah, Kickstarter, I knew I'd be fine regardless. But well, no, the contingency plan is just take more on, right? I mean, that's
take more on.
Oh yeah. I mean, you just said your contingency plan was, if this doesn't work, I'm just taking on more debt. We're
exactly. Exactly. So, taking on more debt. Exactly.
Right. Any other questions in the audience? Yeah.
I'm just curious. Thank you very much. This is great. I'm just curious if you have any thoughts on how somebody could do this that doesn't already have a built-in following.
Would it be someone that has an existing business or a brand new business they're trying to launch?
Let's say brand new.
Okay, brand new business and you're trying to do a Kickstarter. Oh, that's interesting.
Maybe it's not possible. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think it's probably possible. Like, you probably want to start with a lower amount that you're going for. So I know my friend Katrina, I think she went for like $7,000 to get an ice cream machine. So it was a very realistic. So I think putting a very realistic use to what you're using the money for, setting a realistic goal for the money. And I think whether you have a following or not on Instagram, you probably already have a network. So LinkedIn, Facebook, I mean, that's how I found all the other businesses that I was trying to support. A lot of times Kickstarters are for businesses that are concepts. And so they're trying to get people to pre-purchase items. So my friend had like a protein peanut butter business. And it was like, if you pledge $15, you get one of our first jars. And so if they didn't get the funding, the product didn't come to life. But it was kind of a preset group of people that committed to being the first product buyers. So I think you're using it more to get your first customers than you're using it to expand. Does that make sense? Cool.
Hold on, Greg.
Sorry.
Those pie in the sky tiers, would you still do those again on the off chance that someone might do it, or would you say those were a waste of time? Or
The high in the sky one,
yeah,
you said?
the 2,000 and things like that.
So it's funny. The $2,500 one, we didn't get any people pledging on that tier level, but we got someone that gave that amount. They just didn't want that thing. So some people, I mean, just gave, and you can just choose a smaller or lesser tier and give more money. I'm not sure exactly why I thought that tier was awesome, but I would still do that on the off chance that someone was feeling spicy that day. Yeah, I don't regret that at all. And it was kind of fun because it was out there. Like, those were definitely more of a creative type of tiers. Yeah, I thought they were all good no matter what if I got pledges on them, but the lower tiers were the most impactful for sure. No, thank you.
I think we'll wrap up questions for today. Can you switch back to?
Yep.
All right, you get to pick a winner. Let's get started.
Oh, we get to pick a winner?
You two get to pick a winner.
I get to just pick a winner.
You just get to pick a winner.
Not out of a hat?
No, you just get to pick a winner.
Okay, all right. That's a
Oh, you
tough
have
one.
mics.
Oh yeah,
You
I do have
have
my mic one. Anyone in the crowd?
Anyone in the crowd?
I already know who I'm going to pick.
You can't pick your husband.
I can't. I know that's not what I was going to do. Trust me, I thought about it. I'm going to pick you, Jay, because I like your
right,
orange
Jay.
shirt. Yes.
So Jay, I'm going to hand this to you. See me afterwards, and we'll connect and get you your gift card.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, that is it. I thought there was more. Join us next month on November 20th for our nonprofit audits. And then December, we have a snowflake soiree.
Soiree.
I can't speak. Yeah, that's it. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, everyone. Do I just take these off? Awesome.